Do you want a garden that looks amazing all summer?
Yes!
Without the need of constant watering, constant feeding and any other such faffing about?
Hallelujah!
Well, I've got 5 flowering perennials that are so tough you'd almost consider them to be bulletproof.
Hooray!
Cows, my name is Simon, you are watching Walking Talking Gardeners, and in this video I'm going to be discussing my top 5 summer flowering perennials that are perfect for either the beginner gardener or for those who are a little bit more experienced. The first plant on the list are the Echinaceas, commonly known as the Coneflowers and a native to the United States of America.
Oh, say can you see?
Echinaceas have long, strong taproots, and that allows them to survive in periods of drought because they can go further down to find water. Plant them in a position that receives as much sun as possible throughout the day and provide a regularly moist yet free draining soil. Just be aware with these plants, although they are absolutely stunning, flower for a long time with long lasting blooms, they will not like to be kept in damp, waterlogged conditions over the winter period. Also, they don't like to be disturbed at the root system, so allow the plants to clump up nicely, and eventually when you get sick and tired of looking at them, then you can lift and divide for propagation, plant them somewhere else, starting all over again. Plant number 2 are the very similar looking Rudbeckia. So similar are they are often confused, and why wouldn't they be? They are both from the family Asteraceae. And all the things that apply to your Echinacea also apply to your Rudbeckia. They need full sun, they need a free draining soil. Although during extended periods of drought you may get some wilting on your Rudbeckia, just give it some water, that's all you have to do. My most favouriteest of all the cultivars are the Rudbeckia hirta, particularly the one with the word cherry in it. I can't remember it right now, but I'll just stick it there. All really good. Once again, late flowering throughout the summer period, long lasting blooms. Another excellent choice. So we're talking about some really interesting flowering herbaceous plants that will do really well in most people's gardens, but would you be interested in finding out about my top 5 flowering shrubs for this month?
Yes!
Oh, you would you? Well, we made a video earlier. That is an image right there of the thumbnail, so you recognise it. You can't click on that, that won't work. But at the end of this video, I will put a proper clickable thumbnail that if you click on that, takes you straight to that video. You can find out about these flowering shrubs as well as finding out now about these flowering herbaceous plants. Don't forget, you can support this channel by doing... Let's continue. Choice number 3 is this plant. And also this one, which is the same plant, just a different colour. That is right, I'm talking about the species and cultivars of the Sedum Spectabile, now renamed to be Hylotelephium. Why do you keep changing the names to something even more unpronounceable? Very irritating, it grinds my bones. Sedum Spectabile, I'm not using your stupid new name, is ridiculously cold hardy. You don't need to feed it, you barely need to water it, and only then during periods of extended drought. And once a year, give it a trim in the spring. That's it. Absolutely stunning, and one of the very best nectar producing plants for the end of the summer, a key period for your pollinating. insects. And really, your Echinacea and your Rudbeckia are also absolutely fantastic plants for attracting beneficial pollinating insects. So not only does your garden look good, it does your garden good too.
Hooray!
In that position number 4, and these aren't in any particular order, are your Daylilies, your Hemerocallis. Now, I appreciate you might not like some of those over leafy, rather insipid yellow forms, but believe me, there are some absolutely stunning cultivars out there. So much so, I've even put my own hand in my pocket and paid for one with my own money.
No!
You can't say better than that as a recommendation. This is what it looks like now with its emerging flower buds, and this is what it's going to look like in about a month's time. Absolutely gorgeous, this one. At number 5, we have the Nepeta Walker's Low, an award-winning cultivar from the cat mint family. Despite being called low, it isn't particularly low. It grows to about 3 feet tall. As with all the other plants I've mentioned here, once established, this plant is extremely drought tolerant. It is an absolute magnet for bees and other pollinating insects and cats, because it's cat mint family. And as a little tip, once it's had its first flush in the summer, cut all those flower heads down by about 1/3 and you will get another flush or bloom. It's a bit like the Chelsea chop, but after Chelsea, and not quite as poncy. You can still say poncy? Can you still say poncy? I don't flipping know. And so to you, my dear viewers, I have this to ask. Those are my 5 suggestions for bulletproof summer flowering plants that also are fantastic pollinating plants, but there are plenty of other plants out there that do exactly the same job. And depending where you are in the world, you'll have a different list. So if you've got great suggestions, put that into the comments. Tell us where you live at the same time, not your address, just the country or whereabouts in the country, because it gets some fantastic information in there and that can be shared out to the other viewers. Before I go, check out this video. I made this one earlier. It's been quite popular. If you've already seen it, don't worry. I'm sure there's another one that you might like. See you in the next video.